What's happening, everybody? It's the big guy KG. DC Sports Rundown. Just coming through a few things on my mind. I want to gauge everybody's response and feelings towards what is going on in Washington, sports wise. But first and foremost, I left something out of the Tuesday night flight last night, and it kind of disturbs me because people are saying, oh, Julian Edelman, uh, Hall of Famer. He retired. He was released and he retired. They're calling him a Hall of Famer, three-time Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 53. But looking over his numbers, looking over Julian Edelman's numbers, he's not a Hall of Famer. He started 85 of 137 games over 11 years. He missed 2017 with an injury. 620 receptions, 6,822 yards receiving. 36 touchdowns. Okay. Let me go back over here and go to the videotape. Now you have one Hines Ward, who is not in the Hall of Fame, played 1,000 games. Am I right? No, I'm sorry. Played 217 games. Has 1,000 receptions, 12,083 yards, 85 touchdowns. But he's not in the Hall of Fame. You have Sterling Sharp. Exactly. Sterling Sharp better before him, way before him. Because Sterling Sharp, 112 games played, 595 receptions, 8,134 yards. So if you telling me that Edelman's a Hall of Famer and Sterling Sharp and Hines Ward are not, I'm gonna need you to go pee in a cup because we need to see what drugs you want, see if we can market that and package it and probably make $1 million off of it because you are delusional. Okay? All right. So we're gonna start off with the Washington football team. Since we're in DC, we're gonna talk about the DC Sports Rundown. Now, Washington has been kind of quiet, and in some terms, quiet in free agency. Now, they re-signed a lot of their own. They franchised Brandon Sheriff, re-signed Kyle Allen. David Sharp was re-signed. Lamar Miller re-signed. Jared Norris re-signed. But then and Cam Sims, don't forget about Cam Sims. And the Midnight Rider checked in. He's only one because of playoff numbers. I don't give a damn about playoff numbers. Playoffs? The hell with your playoff numbers. What have you done as a career? Sterling Sharp has showed his career was what, 7 years? And he was one of the most impactful receivers of the 90s. Edelman was a good slot receiver. Could he play on the outside? No. But he could be replaced. The same thing that Austin Collie was in Indianapolis, the same thing that what's the Amendola? How many receivers did they bring in New England that did the same thing that he did? You can be replaced. You can't replace a Sterling Sharp. You can't replace a Hines Ward. They tried to replace Hines Ward year after year after year. Didn't want him to be the number one. Hines Ward was the number one all that time. They brung in Plexico Burrs. Didn't do anything. They brung in Antoine Randall. Didn't do anything. You had Ernie Mills. All those guys. They didn't do anything. They didn't stay as long as Hines Ward did. They weren't up to his caliber. So, Redskins free agents. Well, sorry, Washington football team free agents. They re-signed Danny Johnson, got a tender out to Cam Sims, who I hope they bring back. Now they lost Kevin Pierre-Louis, Ronald Darby, Ryan Anderson, who else? Fabian Moreau, Robert Foster, Jeremy Sprinkle, all gone. I'm kind of messed up about the Jeremy Sprinkle thing, not because I think he was talented. I just wanted to see him catch one touchdown pass so I can get this here. That's all I wanted. Selfish me. That's all I wanted. Nick Sundberg was released. Reuben Foster's not coming back. Ryan Kerrigan may be back. Not sure. Then they go out and they go shopping. Washington gets Ryan Fitzpatrick. Great deal. On the fence about it. I'll see how it works at the end of the season and give my thoughts about it. William Jackson from the Bengals, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Larson, Adam Humphries, Darryl Roberts, David Mayo. I like that signing. DeAndre Carter and Samis Reyes. A lot of people say, "Oh, he gonna be the next Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, and Jimmy Graham, former basketball player to turn to a tight end." We don't know that. Now he did run a 4.6 40, which is good. Now you got Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas used to be a quarterback, and I think he's pretty daggone good at what he does at tight end. So you teaming him and see what this Reyes kid can do. We might have a solid tight end position for the first time in a long time. You know, last time we had solid tight end play, 3 tight ends, or even 2 tight ends. Damn, do I dare go back to Gibbs 1.0 when you had Don Warren and Clint Didier and Doc Walker? They're your three tight ends right there. All knew their assignment, all could block, all could catch. In my opinion, I think Don Warren I always thought he was a Hall of Fame player, not just on the field, but off the field. But that's me being a fanboy, so don't judge me. Looking over this roster, just going into camp, sleeping Fred. I'm not putting Fred Davis on anything but the drug list. He had all that hype about how he was the next Vernon Davis because he was big and he was fast. He did nothing. He couldn't stay off the wacky tobacco. Chris Cooley, yeah. I love me some Cooley, man. I love Cooley off the field too. Them film breakdowns, I miss them every Monday morning. I miss them because he makes you look at parts of the game that you don't normally look at. But looking over this just everybody they've signed so far, and we haven't even got to the draft yet. Only question mark is the O-line. Who's going where? Of course, Morgan Moses, he's entrenched at the right tackle. Sheriff's the right guard. Rouillet is the center. He's got to be the pivot man. Now, what you going to do, on the left side? Is Christian going to finally get his act together? Be able to play on that left side? Sadiq Charles going to finally be healthy to be that left guard or that left tackle? We still got Cornelius Lucas. You still have Schweitzer. You did re-sign David Sharp. So it's a lot of combinations that could be going, but we need one combination that can just roll. Keep whatever quarterback starts upright. Get the running game going where we got 1,000-yard rusher. I'd rather have 2,000-yard rushes. So, 2,000-yard rushes, and dare I say it, 3,000-yard receivers. That's all I'm asking for. I don't need one receiver. I don't need Scary Terry to get 1,800 yards receiving. I need 3,000-yard receivers, double-digit touchdowns from all of them. I need a quarterback that's going to give me 30 touchdowns. 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. But see, the difference is we had that in Kirk, but I want wins. I want another NFC East championship. I want a playoff run, not just a playoff appearance, a playoff run. And I know it's too early to call it, it's too early to say, but these are the things that I want every year. And anybody that knows me, especially my Auto Plus family, they know I don't get excited in the offseason. I don't get excited around the draft. I don't get excited in preseason because it means absolutely dick. How many times have we been crowned Super Bowl champions in the offseason because of who we signed, who we draft, what's, stories are coming out of camp? If that's the case, Washington should have 4 or 5 more Lombardi trophies. I remember when Trung Candidate came here and had the nerve to wear number 30. Bum. And everybody was, oh, we got Trung Candidate. I remember that stuff. I remember feeling up here, and then at the end of the season, I'm lower than what my screen can say. I'm way down past the apartment underneath me, and past was underneath of them, and past that, because it was a letdown. I don't want to go through that, but this is one off season where I'm excited because of what's going on here in Washington. I'm being honest. You may not agree with me, but I'm being damn honest. It's something to be excited about. Now, damn, I just had my draft picks up. They're talking about Washington trading up. Here we go. They got the 19th, the 51st, the 74th, the 82nd, the 124th, 163, 244, and 246 overall picks. Looking at this, so you got first, second, third, 2/3, a fourth, a fifth, and 2/7. Nothing in the six. What to do with that 19th pick? That's the question. I don't know. If they do got something planned, keep it close to the vest. But I'm more along the lines of get depth, get talent, and get depth, and we'll be fine. We'll be just fine. I don't know. You're coming up as Facebook user, so I'm not sure who I'm talking to, but it says Reyes going to be a diamond in the rough. I'm hoping so. I hope so. You know, one of those tight ends, and I always come up with this scenario. And I said this would have been awesome. I think I said this 2 years ago when we had Jordan Reed. I said, you know, you had guys that couldn't check him in the red zone. So in the red zone, he should have either been the target or the decoy. And I think that's what you can do with Logan Thomas or this Reyes kid. I mean, he's what, 6'5", 6'6"? Good grief. With size like that, there is no corner out there other than Richard Sherman that probably can body up with a tight end. There's no linebacker that's going to be able to jump with him. So red zone, you got red zone threats. You got Logan Thomas. You still got Scary Terry. You got Cam Sims, who's 6'5". You got these big players that you can put on the outside and slide. You can move them around. Then also you got Gibson coming on the backfield. You got weapons. All you got to do is execute. This thing is starting to shape up to be a, you know, we normally say it's a Ferrari and all you got to do is drive it and don't strip the gears. Nah. It's starting to shape up to be a Bugatti. And the thing is, you're on the Autobahn. That's what BJ always says. You're on the Autobahn. Jump on the Autobahn and go. But you got to know how to shift. You got to know how to merge. You got to do all of that. But it's straightforward. Now, it could be derailed at any time. Let's just see how it works. But I'm excited about what we have. And the Midnight Rider Ben says number 6 out of Notre Dame. Yeah. The linebacker. We Notre Dame fan. We need to turn our cards in for a couple of weeks. I think we need to be on punishment. I can never remember the cat's name because I'm not looking at it right now, but I know who you're talking about. We get him to add to this linebacking core. Now, right as of right now, you still got Josh Harvey Clemens. You still got John Bostic. Cole Holcomb is going to be, if they move him back to the middle, it'll be fine. Khaleke Hudson. David Mayo signed, Jared Norris and Justin Phillips. Man, we could do some things. That defense is going to be absolutely, positively a beast. I'm not saying 85 Bears or 2000 Ravens. I'm not saying the early 2000s Jets that went to the AFC Championship games, who had some pretty damn decent defenses. I'm saying that they're going to play together. And it's gonna look so good. Defense is gonna be sexy this year. Whew. I'm just happy to say it though. Defense is gonna be sexy. Secondary, Uwasu. There we go. I couldn't remember his name. I would love to get him. Of course, he's a Notre Dame product. Of course, I love to get him. But if he falls in our lap at 19, I'm with it. But now if we can package that 19th pick and move up, but we package it and we get 3-4 picks back, you know, second, third round picks, I do that too. Because I love an abundance of picks. I love a lot of picks. I even play Madden like that, where they had to put a rule in a league that I was in that you couldn't have no more than 10 picks. Because I had like 20 picks one year. And I believe in stockpiling picks, because if you want to build, you can get talent, but it's not going to cost you as much as going out in free agency to do it. So I'm with that. We got to get him at 19. Hey, we can trading up for Trey Lance. Everybody's talking about that. I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Cat's a talent, but you just signed Kyle Allen. You just signed Ryan Fitzpatrick. You still got Tyler Heinicke. What's the point of it? And then you still have Steven Montez as your camp and your practice squad quarterback. What's the point of bringing in another quarterback, especially in the first round? So you're gonna pay this guy a pretty penny to sit on the bench and do what? Because are you really gonna start him rookie year over Fitzpatrick, and then Fitzpatrick moves on next year? Then you still got a quarterback competition between Heinicke, Allen, and Lance. So you still got some dysfunction there. We still don't have a franchise QB. No, we don't. We don't. And BJ always gets on me about this because I say the last time we had a franchise QB, he wore number 7. And I'm not talking Dwayne Haskins. I'm talking Joe Theismann. He says, no, you had a franchise quarterback that wore number 8. It was Kirk Cousins, I guess. But the body of work says so. But franchise quarterback means he leaves the franchise. He left the franchise. So that's why I always say Joe T was our last franchise quarterback. We haven't had one since then. Rippon didn't have the body of work. Doug Williams didn't play very much during the regular season. He was, the playoff guy. And, what he did in the Super Bowl. But his regular season wasn't really that good. Jay Schrader, up and down. Then you get into the John Freezes, the Rich Gannons, the Kerry Conklins, Jeff Rutledge. You get into a lot of these different quarterbacks, and you think of all the quarterbacks that have started here since 1992. Tony Banks, Jeff George. Funniest thing I've ever heard about Jeff George from Dennis Miller when he was doing Monday Night Football. Jeff George throws a pretty interception, and it was a pretty interception against Green Bay. We lost 38-0, but that was the tightest spiral. It was pretty, and it was just an interception, but it was a pretty one. So, you got guys like that come through here. And I think Brad Johnson was on the cusp of being our franchise quarterback because we were consistent. Offense was good, but we just don't have. It's 2021. And we still don't have that guy. We still don't have him. That's a problem. That's a problem. So within the next year or two, we need to find that guy to lead the Washington football team as the franchise quarterback. We got a franchise defensive talent in Chase Young. There's no reason we shouldn't have a guy on the other side of that ball that's touching the ball every snap in a quarterback. So 33 QBs. That's what the Midnight Rider Ben says. 33 QBs since 92. That's a lot, man. It's a lot. I look over all of this, and this is a talented team. I like the running backs we have. I'm not going to make any speculations. I'll wait until camp starts, and I'll tell you when camp starts who's going to be your odd man out. But it's a couple players that I know that's going to be out before the end of camp and before the end of the preseason. I think Bryce Love is going to be gone. They're going to cut ties with him. Steven Sims is going to be gone. And I think my man Troy Apke, as bad as I don't want him to go, I think he's going to be gone too. Those are 3 players that you can count that's not going to make this team this year. So that's 3 that's going to be up out of there. But overall, this team is shaping up to be pretty damn good. I mean, I really want, I always say a successful season is not 10-6. Whether you win the division or not, successful season for Washington is never 10-6. I'm tired of 10-6. I grew up with 14-2s and 13-3s, and the year of 82, what was we? 9-1, only lost to the Cowboys. I want more than 10 wins, and you good and young. That's a perfect way to express how we are in Washington. This team is good and young. That's exactly right. Yeah, the records are gonna look weird. I forgot we're going to 17 games, 18 weeks, 17 games. And a lot of people don't realize that NFL players are going to get paid differently off of that, because they normally get paid based on 17 weeks. So you're getting this lump sum. So now they're stretching your contracts out over 18 weeks. So it's like the players are losing a little bit of game, but a little bit of money for these games, but the NFL is gaining the game that they want, and they're gaining more money. So, uh, we never even talked about the additional game. It was just something that came and went. But we'll see how it works. I think they'll go back to 16 games. But with everything that's going on in the front office, with Daniel Snyder taking and now he's the sole owner of the team, there are no minority owners. That could have been the distraction that imploded everything. The sexual assault allegations, the pausing of the first ladies of football, which I didn't agree with. They fired these ladies in a Zoom call. No explanation. They had questions and they didn't want to answer the question. I didn't agree with none of that. But everything that went on this offseason, to see on the football side that it hasn't leaked over, it's a good thing. To not be the laughing stock of the NFL for once, it's a good thing. So, but we shall see. If I'm not mistaken, the first day that they can report, clubs with returning head coaches may begin off-season workout programs April 19th. That is Monday. The boys are back in town. So everybody should be coming in, hopefully, getting everything together. We got the draft at the end of this month, 29th and the 1st. Of course, we'll be coming. I think we should do something live during the draft. Just do a live during the draft and, gauge everybody's reaction on every pick. See if we can guess it. Put money in a pot and whoever guessed the pick, $5, see who can make the most money. Try something. We'll try to do something. But moving on. I posed a question last night on the Tuesday Night Flight. If you haven't listened to it, please go and listen to it. Hold on, let me go back. I need to do some groundwork, but I think the players are getting 34 pay weeks. I heard that too. They're getting paid in the offseason because normally you don't get paid in the offseason, but now you're getting paid in the offseason. Can't wait for this draft. Hell no, I can't either. I'm interested to see where everybody's gonna go, and it is gonna be interesting because we don't know who's gonna land where. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I can't wait for it either. Now, I asked the question last night on Tuesday Night Flight. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. It's on every platform: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. But since we're talking DC Sports Rundown, let's talk WizKids. 5 seasons. Scott Brooks has coached 371 games. He's 169 and 202. Oh, that's Keith. Hey, buddy. Hey, man. I didn't know that was you. All right, cool. We got my man Keith from the block. And I'm glad you here. Let me ask y'all a question. Should Scott Brooks be fired? Because this is a talented team that he has in Washington. You have, and I said it last night, you got one of the best scorers in the league right now in Bradley Beal. You got one of the best scorers all time, one of the best all-around players all time in Russell Westbrook. Why can't he harness that talent and get those guys over the hump? You've been to the playoffs, what? 2 years since you've been here. 2 years. Why in the hell does he still have a job? Are they scared of him? He had naked pictures of somebody? Like, what the fuck, man? I'm not even a Wizard fan, but it blows my mind because every year, and anybody will tell you this, BJ especially, I pick the Wizards every year to win at least 50 games. And Keith say he can't coach defense, never been able to. That's a problem. Because they can score 140 points and the other team will still score 145 and win. That's a problem. He's an average coach at best. Yeah, but why is it that average coaches get the most longevity, but somebody like Alvin Gentry gets fired? Nate McMillan gets fired. Now, Nate McMillan took over in Atlanta after they fired their coach. Look at how good Atlanta has been. So maybe Nate McMillan was never the problem. See, that's the problem I had. And I'm not going to bring it up. You already know where I'm going. But if you notice, these guys keep getting opportunity after opportunity. Now, granted, he came here to lure KD here. I knew KD wasn't coming here. I was like, there's no point in signing Scott Brooks. KD's not coming here. He already said he doesn't want to play at home. It's too much pressure to play at home. It's too much of a distraction to play at home. And I agree with him. So you knew he wasn't coming here. But Scott Brooks has finished his first season 82 and 49. I'm sorry. Damn, if it was that, he would have he would have really been a great coach. But 49 and 33, then 43 and 39, 32 and 50, 25 and 47. And they made the playoffs last year. They were the 9 seed at 25 and 47. 20 and 33 this year, 13 games below 500. And this dude still has a damn job. I can't do this, because if I'm Tommy Shepard, I have to look at the roster that I have. And that's what I was doing. I was pulling up the Wizards roster. I don't understand for the life of me how in the world you can have a roster of such talent and you can't get anything out of it. And Keith says we have a 62 record, beating the best teams in the NBA and lose to the worst teams they play. You know, I brung you up last night, Keith, because you said that in general. Why is it that the Wizards can beat the best teams in the NBA but lose to the worst? They play down to their competition. They've been doing that for years. I remember nights in the 90s, the Bullets/Wizards would come out and they would go toe to toe with like Chicago, Utah. Now mind you, this is Rod Strickland, Juwan Howard, Chris Webber days, George Mirasan. You know, they had talent, but not abundance of talent. Calvert Chaney was there too, guard. You had Mitchell Butler coming off the bench, you know, stuff like that. But they would battle these teams and beat them. But then they'll play somebody like at that time Golden State wasn't very good, or that Denver wasn't very good, and they'll get blown out by Denver. The Denver will blow the doors off of them. They play down to the competition. It's like they'll be so high on getting ginned up about beating this best team, and then it comes down to it. Worst team coming in like, all right, we're gonna knock them off their pedestal, and they do just that. Just that. Now you got Bradley Beal, Thomas Bryant's hurt. Daniel Gafford that they got from Chicago. Hachimura's a beast. He's a damn beast. Robin Lopez, Alex Len, Ish Smith, of course Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. I mean, you got these guys, and they play Sacramento at 10 in Sacramento. They lose to Sacramento. I'm sorry. I think I would have to walk down to the locker room and tell Scott Brooks, don't even clean out your locker. We'll ship that shit to you. Find out how you getting home because you fired. But here's the second part of the question. You fired Scott Brooks, who you bringing in? Now, you know who I want. I want y'all to get Mark Jackson, because number one, he's going to teach you discipline. Number two, he's going to teach you defense. All the success that they had in Golden State is because of Mark Jackson. Now, Steve Kerr just came and harnessed it. And Steve Kerr is one of the most intelligent coaches that I've ever seen, because he played for two greats. He played for Pop. Well, actually played for three greats, because he played in Cleveland with Lenny. He played for Lenny, he played for Pop, and he played for Phil. But he gives all the credit to Mark Jackson. I need Mark Jackson here. Mark Jackson has to lay the groundwork, and they have to let him do him. You know why Mark Jackson not going to coach again? Because they blackballed him. They blackballed him. Then you can't tell me that Mark Jackson as a coach was not a decent coach. It was not a good coach. You can't tell me that. You can't. I'm not going to accept it. Somehow, some way, he's going to coach again. Anytime the Van Gundys can get jobs, Mark Jackson get a job. Van Gundy is a teacher. So man, but you got your pick of coaches. What coach would you love to see here? That's my question to everybody. What coach would you love to see here? But I think the consensus is Scott Brooks got to go. No doubt in my mind, Scott Brooks has got to go. So, last but not least, before I get up out of here, because I done already hit the 30-minute mark. Not sure if everybody been looking at it. Kevin Durant and Shannon Sharpe now going at it. That's kind of sort of discouraging. But I'm seeing people choose sides now. You know, you call Shannon Sharpe names about a fake tweet that was said. Okay. Here's my thing. Kevin Durant didn't have to respond. Kevin Durant could have laughed it off. Ha, fake news. Hashtag fake news. Sent a tweet and left it at that. Just left it at that. It didn't have to become what it is, where Shannon Sharpe has now blocked Kevin Durant, told Kevin Durant he want to talk to him in private. Kevin like, no, I'm not talking to you in private. You put it on social media. Let's handle it on social media. Everything shouldn't be on social media. Everything shouldn't be. I just keep saying Kevin is so sensitive. Yes, it shouldn't be. People say things about me on a regular. They can say it online. They can say it to my face. Well, no, they ain't gonna say it to my face. They not gonna say it to my face. Trust me on that. Hey, the boss BJ checks in. Shannon should have done his research. Yes, he did. Yes, he should have. But the thing is, number one, Shannon should have done his research. But him not doing his research and going and running with that, immediately Kevin should have just said fake news and went on about his business. But everybody's making it seem like people are picking on Kevin Durant. Now, granted, I know the area loves Kevin Durant, especially those of you from Capitol Heights and Seat Pleasant and everything. I know y'all love Kevin Durant. Don't get me wrong. One of the best scorers we've seen in a long time. Tell me somebody that's going to stop him from bringing the ball up court, pulling up to his sweet spot, and shooting that mid-range. Tell me who's going to stop him when he decides to drive the lane. So, and the boss BJ checks in, KD is extremely sensitive. No argument from me. I agree. But it's certain things as a man I'm not doing. Maybe it's because I'm old school. Maybe I'm just old and the times have passed me. But I don't care what you say. I'm 39. I'm still young. I ain't got a mark on my face and possibly can't be beat. So, I don't think it should have been aired out like that. I don't think you should have actually went to social media to say, oh, if you got something to say to me, bro, why don't you just say it? You always got something to say about me. Everybody's gonna have critics. Especially a superstar. Durant's a superstar. You're gonna have a critic. Magic Johnson had critics. Remember, they called him Tragic Magic. Bird had critics. Jordan had critics. Wilt had critics. Russell had critics. All the greats have had critics. If you don't have critics, you're not doing something right. You don't have haters. You're not doing something right. Most people don't hate you because you've done something wrong. Most people hate you because you're doing something right and they can't achieve it. Not saying that Shannon was hating on him. But we all know, everybody says it. It's a 95% consensus that they feel that though Kevin Durant's 2 rings don't count because he ran to a 73-win team. A lot of people feel like that. A lot of people feel like that. He could have went anywhere else, but he chose to go to Golden State. They went out. They win 2 championships. Okay. But like I said last night, you can't take the rings from him. You can't take the MVP trophies from him. Same way you can't take the ring from Boogie. Boogie got a ring last year. He played on the Lakers roster. They got to give him a ring. So if that's the case, that's it. But I just don't feel that in no way, shape, or form it should have been aired out the way it was on social media. Some things, and I swear, I hope Kevin Durant sees this. Some things, as a man, you just gotta laugh at and push on. Because whether it was a fake tweet, whether it was a misquote, don't matter what it was. You still collect your check. You still got your endorsements. You still got money coming in. That fake tweet, that fake news, it's not going to stop your money flow. It's not going to stop your career. It's not like the world just automatically stops. All right, Kevin Durant's cut off. Fuck that shit. People going to talk regardless. As a man, you got to let them talk. Go to your office. Do your own talking. And if I'm not mistaken, he went out and dropped 30 last night. Or night before last, whichever night that all this went down. I think it was night before last. He went out and dropped 30. Do it again. Let that be your motivation. But jumping on social media trying to defend yourself, man, that's a full-time job. You already got a full-time career. You don't need another one defending yourself against haters and critics. And I think Shannon Sharpe is a critic. But he gets paid to be a critic. You can't get mad about that. So that's all I got to say. So to sum it up, Washington football looking like it's going to be something special this year. Washington basketball need to drop some dead weight. That's Scott Brooks. And Kevin Durant need to learn that if it don't apply, let that shit fly. So I'm the big guy, KG. I'm out of here. Don't forget, go back, check out WrestleManiacs from last week. Everything for WrestleMania week. Check out the Tuesday Night Flight from last night. Don't forget to look out for the Thursday Night Throwdown tomorrow night. So until then, I don't do no overtime. I am out of here.